Commander Jake Morrison rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the stars through the main window of his ship. The exploration vessel U.S. Horizon had been traveling through empty space for 3 months now. They were supposed to be mapping new star systems, but so far they had found nothing interesting. Just empty space and distant stars? "Sir, you need to see this," called Dr. Lisa Carter from her station. She was the ship's science officer, a smart woman who had joined the mission to study alien life. Her voice sounded strange, like she could not believe what she was seeing. Jake walked over to her workstation. On the screen was something that should not exist. A massive space station floated in the darkness ahead of them. It was huge, bigger than any human structure ever built. Strange lights blinked along its surface, and weird shapes stuck out from its sides like the arms of some giant metal creature. "Where did this come from?" Jake asked. "Our maps show this area as completely empty," Lisa shook her head. "I don't know, sir, but look at this." She pointed to another screen showing energy readings. "This station is broadcasting signals on frequencies we have never seen before. Multiple different types of signals, like different species, are all talking to each other." Jake felt his heart start beating faster. This was first contact. Humanity had been searching for other intelligent life for decades, and now they had found not just one species, but many. He pressed the ship's communication button. "All hands, this is the commander. We have discovered what appears to be an alien space station. All departments prepare for first contact protocols." The bridge became busy as crew members rushed to their stations. Lieutenant Ben Sullivan, the communications officer, started working on the alien signals. His job was to try to understand what the aliens were saying to each other. "Commander," Ben said after a few minutes, "I'm picking up words in the transmissions. They're speaking about something called the quarantine protocol. And sir, they keep mentioning Earth." Jake felt cold. "Earth? Are you sure?" "Yes, sir. They're definitely talking about our home planet. But I don't understand why." Dr. Carter ran more scans on the station. "Sir, this structure is ancient. The technology is far beyond anything we have, but some parts look like they've been here for centuries. And there are ships docked to it from at least 12 different species." Jake made a decision. "Sullivan, keep monitoring their communications. Carter, I want a full scan of that station. Find out everything you can about it." For the next hour, they learned incredible things. The station belonged to something called the Galactic Council, made up of 12 different alien species. These aliens had been ruling this part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They had advanced technology, vast fleets of ships, and colonies on hundreds of worlds. But the most shocking discovery came when Dr. Carter managed to decode part of their computer systems. The aliens had detailed files about Earth and humanity. They had been watching human civilization for over 200 years. "Commander," Lisa said quietly, "according to these files, Earth is classified as a restricted world. The aliens have built a massive sensor network around our solar system to hide it from other species. Any ship that gets too close to Earth is redirected away without ever knowing we exist." Jake stared at the information on the screen. "They've been hiding us?" "Why?" Ben looked up from his station. "Sir, I'm getting more of their communications translated. Humanity has been classified as something called a Tier 5 extinction risk, according to their files. We're considered too dangerous to be allowed contact with galactic civilization." "Too dangerous?" Jake couldn't believe it. "We're just one planet. How could we be dangerous to a galactic empire?" Dr. Carter found the answer in the alien files. "Sir, they have detailed studies of human history. They watched our world wars, our nuclear weapons, our rapid technological advancement. One report says that humans went from primitive farming to space travel in just a few thousand years. Most alien species take tens of thousands of years to reach that level." Jake read through the alien reports about humanity. The aliens called humans uniquely aggressive and adaptable. They noted that humans were the only species they had observed that regularly fought wars against their own kind with weapons capable of destroying their entire planet. The aliens were terrified of what humans might do if they gained access to galactic technology. "There's more, sir," Lisa said. The files show that 3 human ships have actually encountered alien vessels in the past 50 years. Each time, the aliens captured our people, erased their memories, and destroyed their ships. The official human records list those ships as lost in accidents. Jake felt anger building inside him. These aliens had been secretly controlling humanity's contact with the galaxy. They had killed human explorers and covered it up. They had decided that humanity was too dangerous to exist freely in the galaxy. "Sir," Ben called out urgently, "I'm intercepting a priority message being sent to the alien homeworld. The message says that Earth's quarantine has been breached. They know we're here, and they know we've accessed their classified information." Jake felt his blood turn cold. "What does that mean?" Ben's face went pale as he read more of the message. "Sir, they're activating something called Terminal Containment Protocol. According to the message, it means complete sterilization of the Sol system." Dr. Carter looked up from her station with horror in her eyes. "Commander, they're going to destroy Earth. They're going to kill everyone on our planet to prevent us from escaping into the galaxy." Jake pressed the emergency communication button. "This is Commander Morrison to Captain Rodriguez. Priority Alpha emergency. We need the Liberty here immediately." Within minutes, space around the alien station lit up with the arrival of the battle. Cruiser U.S. Liberty. Captain Amy Rodriguez's ship was the most powerful vessel in the human fleet, armed with nuclear weapons and kinetic projectiles. "Morrison," came Rodriguez's voice over the communication system, "what's your situation?" "Captain, we've discovered a galactic civilization that has been hiding Earth's existence for centuries. They consider us too dangerous to exist, and they're preparing to destroy our entire solar system." There was silence on the communication channel for several seconds. Then Rodriguez spoke again, her voice deadly calm. "How long do we have?" Ben checked the alien messages again. "According to their communications, their battle fleet will reach Earth in 3 days. They're sending enough ships to turn our entire solar system into dust." Jake looked at the massive alien station before them. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they knew the truth. They were not alone, but they were considered so dangerous that an entire galactic civilization had decided they must be destroyed. "Captain Rodriguez," Jake said into the communication system, "we have 3 days to warn Earth and prepare for the fight of our lives. The aliens think we're too dangerous to be allowed to exist. Maybe it's time to show them they were right." The alien station continued to broadcast its messages, unaware that the humans had understood every word. The Galactic Council had spent centuries trying to hide Earth's existence from the galaxy. But now it was too late. Humanity knew the truth, and they would not go quietly into the darkness. Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, but they were also angry. These aliens had decided humanity's fate without ever giving them a chance to prove themselves. They had sentenced an entire planet to death based on fear and prejudice. "All hands," Jake announced to his ship, "prepare for emergency departure. We're going home to warn our people. The galaxy tried to hide us, but now they're going to learn what humans do when someone threatens our family." The UES Horizon turned toward Earth, carrying the most important message in human history. The stars were not empty, and humanity was not alone. But their new neighbors had already decided that humans were too dangerous to live. Dr. Lisa Carter worked through the night, her fingers flying across the computer keyboard as she tried to break into the alien station's databanks. The coffee had gone cold hours ago, but she didn't care. Every minute that passed brought the alien fleet closer to Earth. "I'm in," she whispered to herself, then called out louder. "Commander Morrison, I've accessed their main database." Jake hurried over to her station. Captain Rodriguez was there too, having moved her command to the horizon to work directly with the science team. They both looked at the screen as Lisa pulled up file after file of alien information. "What are you finding?" Jake asked. Lisa's face was pale. "It's worse than we thought. Earth isn't just hidden from other species. The aliens have been actively working to keep us isolated for over 2 centuries. Look at this." She showed them a map of local space with red lines marking trade routes. Every single route curved around the Sol system, avoiding it completely. No alien merchant, explorer, or diplomat had passed anywhere near Earth in 200 years. They didn't just hide us, Lisa continued. They changed the navigation data for the entire region. Any ship that tries to plot a course through our area gets redirected automatically. The computer systems tell them there's nothing here worth visiting. Captain Rodriguez studied the map. How many ships have come close to Earth? Lisa pulled up another file. 17 different vessels from 8 different species have approached our solar system in the past 50 years. Every single one was turned away by false navigation data. But sir, there's something else. She opened a new file, and Jake felt his heart sink. It was a list of human ships with dates and locations. 3 names stood out because he recognized them. The UES Explorer, the UES Pathfinder, and the UES Discovery. All 3 ships had been reported lost in deep space accidents. These weren't accidents, Lisa said quietly. Each of these ships encountered alien vessels. The aliens captured them, studied the crews, then erased their memories and destroyed their ships. The crews were left in escape pods near human space with false memories of equipment failures. Jake read through the reports. The aliens had been very thorough. They had studied human biology, psychology, and technology from the captured crews. They had learned about human military tactics, political systems, and social structures. All of this information had been used to build their assessment of humanity as a threat. Here's the worst part, Lisa said, opening another file. The aliens have been monitoring our communications for decades. They've been listening to our radio signals, watching our television broadcasts, and tracking our internet traffic. They know more about human society than most humans do. Captain Rodriguez looked angry. They've been spying on us while keeping us prisoner in our own solar system. It gets worse, Lisa said. She opened a file labeled Threat Assessment Updates. They've been watching our technological development very closely. Every time we make a breakthrough in space technology, weapons, or computers, they update their threat rating. Our development of nuclear weapons moved us from Tier 3 to Tier 4. Our first manned mission to Mars moved us to Tier 5. Jake read through the alien assessments. The aliens were particularly worried about human adaptability and creativity. One report noted that humans had developed over 50 different methods of space propulsion in just 1 century. While most alien species had used the same basic technology for millennia, they're afraid of us, Jake realized. They're not just hiding us to protect the galaxy. They're hiding us because they're scared of what we might become. Lieutenant Ben Sullivan called out from his station. Sir, I'm intercepting more communications from the alien station. They're getting reports from observer posts around our solar system. The aliens have been maintaining hidden monitoring stations in our asteroid belt and on the far side of our moon. Lisa pulled up the surveillance files. They've been watching us constantly. Look at this. She showed them video footage of human cities, military bases, and space installations. The aliens had detailed information about human population centers, defensive capabilities, and industrial capacity. They know exactly where to hit us, Captain Rodriguez said grimly. There's more, Lisa said. I found records of internal debates within the Galactic Council. Not all of the alien species agree with the quarantine policy. 2 species called the Hegemony and the Collective have been arguing that the quarantine is illegal under galactic law. Jake felt a spark of hope. Some of them want to help us? Maybe, Lisa said. But they're outnumbered by the species that want us destroyed. Look at this vote record. She showed them a file with alien symbols and numbers. The vote to maintain the quarantine was 8-4. The vote to activate terminal containment protocol was 7-5. Ben looked up from his station. Sir, I'm getting new transmissions. The alien battle fleet has left their staging area. They're moving toward Earth now. Jake felt time slipping away. How long do we have? Based on their transmission delays and the references to travel time, I estimate 68 hours until they reach Earth's outer defenses. Dr. Carter continued searching through the alien files. Commander, I found something important. The aliens have detailed plans for the attack on Earth. They're not just planning to destroy our planet. They want to eliminate all traces that humanity ever existed. She showed them the alien battle plans. The attack would begin with the destruction of all human colonies and space stations. Then they would target Earth's major cities and military installations. Finally, they would shatter the planet itself to prevent any possibility of human survivors. They're planning genocide, Captain Rodriguez said. Complete extermination of the human race. Lisa found more files about the alien fleet composition. Sir, they're sending 347 warships to our solar system. The smallest ships are 3 times the size of our largest battleships. Their weapons can destroy entire continents with single shots. Jake studied the enemy fleet data. The aliens had overwhelming technological superiority. Their ships were faster, better armed, and better defended than anything humanity had ever built. But as he read through their tactical plans, he noticed something. Their battle strategy is very formal, he said. They expect us to fight like other alien species. Ship-to-ship combat in open space with both sides following established rules of engagement. Captain Rodriguez looked at the alien tactics. They don't know how humans really fight. They've been watching us, but they don't understand us. Lisa pulled up more files about human military history. The aliens are particularly confused by human warfare. They note that humans are the only species that deliberately uses deception, surprise attacks, and what they call honorless tactics. In battle, most alien species fight very formally, like a chess game. That might be our advantage, Jake said. They expect us to fight fair? But humans have never fought fair when our survival was at stake. Ben received another transmission from the alien station. Sir, the station is requesting permission to evacuate their personnel. They want to leave before the battle fleet arrives. Why? Jake asked. Lisa found the answer in the alien files. They're afraid of human retaliation. The files show that humans are the only species that consistently target civilian and command structures during warfare. Other alien species focus only on military targets. Captain Rodriguez smiled grimly. They're right to be afraid. If they want to exterminate humanity, they're going to learn what desperate humans are capable of. Jake looked at the massive alien station through the window. It represented centuries of galactic civilization, advanced technology, and peaceful cooperation between species. But it also represented the organization that had sentenced humanity to death without trial. Carter, copy everything you can from their database. We need to know everything about their technology, their species, and their weaknesses. Sullivan, send a message to Earth immediately. Tell them everything we've learned? Lisa worked frantically to download alien files while Ben composed the most important message in human history. In 68 hours, the most powerful military force in the galaxy would arrive at Earth, with orders to eliminate every human being in existence. But now, humanity knew they were coming. The aliens had tried to hide Earth's existence from the galaxy, but their secret was out. And humans, as the aliens had noted in their own files, were extremely dangerous when threatened. The revelation was complete. Humanity was not alone in the universe, but they were alone in their fight for survival. The galaxy had already decided their fate, but humans had never been good at accepting other people's decisions about their future. Captain Amy Rodriguez stood in the command center of the UES Liberty, looking at the star charts spread across the table. The alien battle fleet was 54 hours away from Earth, and she had to make an impossible decision. Morrison, she said to Jake, who was standing beside her, we need to split up. One of us has to get back to Earth to warn our people. The other needs to find allies among the alien species. Jake nodded. I'll take the Horizon back to Earth. My ship is faster, and Dr. Carter has all the alien data we need to share with our military. Good, Rodriguez said. I'm going to try to contact the hegemony and the collective. If Lisa is right about them opposing the quarantine, maybe we can convince them to help us. Within an hour, both ships were ready to leave. Jake watched through the window as the Liberty jumped to hyperspace, heading toward the alien homeworlds. Then he turned to his crew. All hands, prepare for emergency jump to Earth. Chief Davis, I need everything you can give me from the engines. We have to beat the alien fleet home. Chief Petty Officer Rick Davis, the ship's engineer, looked worried. Sir, if I push the engines beyond safety limits, we might not make it at all. If we don't try, Earth won't make it, Jake replied. Do whatever you have to do. The Horizon jumped to hyperspace, and immediately Jake knew they were in trouble. The ship shook violently as the engines strained beyond their design limits. Warning lights flashed on every console, and the sound of stressed metal echoed through the corridors. Sir, called Ben from his station, I'm detecting ships following us. 3 alien interceptors moving fast. Jake cursed under his breath. The aliens from the station had figured out where they were going. How long until they catch us? At current speed, maybe 6 hours, Ben replied. Dr. Carter looked up from her work. Commander, I've been studying the alien technology we copied. Their ships are faster than ours, but they're not built for long-distance pursuit. If we can stay ahead of them for 12 hours, they'll have to return to refuel. We don't have 12 hours, Jake said. Davis, can you give me more speed? The engineer's voice came through the communication system from the engine room. Sir, I'm already pushing the reactor beyond redline. If I give you more power, we might blow up before the aliens catch us. Jake made his decision. Do it. Give me everything. The ship lurched forward as more power flowed to the engines. The hull groaned under the stress, and several minor systems failed. But they were moving faster now, racing toward Earth through the dark space between stars. Meanwhile, Captain Rodriguez was having her own problems. She had managed to contact the hegemony, but the conversation was not going well. The alien diplomat she was talking to seemed nervous and kept looking around as if afraid of being overheard. Captain Rodriguez, the alien said through the translator. What you ask is very dangerous. The Council has ruled on this matter. Humanity is too dangerous to be allowed freedom. But you voted against the quarantine, Rodriguez replied. Your own records show that your species believes the policy is wrong. Yes, we believe the quarantine is illegal, the alien admitted. But opposing the Council openly could result in sanctions against our entire species. We have colonies to protect, trade agreements to maintain. Rodriguez felt frustrated. So you'll let an entire species be destroyed because you're afraid of economic consequences? The alien was quiet for a long moment. Captain, you do not understand. Galactic politics. The Council has maintained peace for 3,000 years. Species that oppose the Council find themselves isolated, cut off from trade and technology. We cannot risk that for a species we barely know. Similar conversations were happening with the Collective and several other alien species. All of them privately agreed that the quarantine was wrong, but none were willing to risk their own positions to help humanity. Back on the horizon, Jake's situation was getting worse. The alien interceptors were gaining ground, and the ship's engines were starting to fail. Warning alarms sounded throughout the vessel as system after system overloaded. Sir, Davis called from the engine room, I'm getting cascade failures in the power grid. We're going to lose hyperdrive in the next hour. Jake looked at the navigation display. They were still 8 hours from Earth, even at their current dangerous speed. If they lost hyperdrive, the alien ships would catch them easily. Carter, what do you know about alien ship designs? He asked. Lisa pulled up the files she had stolen from the alien station. Their ships are very advanced, but they're built for different purposes than ours. They're designed for long-range exploration and formal battles between fleets. They're not built for the kind of desperate running fight we're in now. What does that mean? It means their ships are probably more fragile than ours. They don't expect to take damage during normal operations. Human ships are built to survive because we've been fighting each other for centuries. We know how to build things that can take a beating. Jake had an idea. Ben, open a channel to the lead alien ship. Sir, are you sure that's wise? Just do it. A moment later, an alien voice came through the communication system. The translator made it sound mechanical and cold. Human vessel, you will stop immediately and surrender. Your interference with Council operations ends now. Jake smiled grimly. Alien vessel, this is Commander Jake Morrison of the United Earth Space Command. I have a message for your Galactic Council. You want to know how dangerous humans are? You're about to find out. He cut the communication and turned to his crew. All hands, prepare for combat maneuvers. We're going to show these aliens what humans do when we're cornered. The next few hours became a running battle through hyperspace. Jake used every dirty trick he had learned in 20 years of military service. He dropped mines in his wake, forcing the alien ships to slow down and navigate around them. He used the ship's waste disposal system to create false sensor readings, making the aliens think there were more human ships than actually existed. When one of the alien interceptors got too close, Jake did something that shocked the aliens completely. He reversed his engines and rammed the alien ship, using the Horizon's reinforced hull as a weapon. The alien vessel, built for speed and elegance, crumpled under the impact and fell out of hyperspace. "Human ship," came an angry transmission from the remaining aliens. "Your actions are violations of all civilized rules of warfare," Jake laughed. "We're not civilized. That's why your council wants to kill us, remember?" Dr. Carter was working frantically at her station. "Commander, I'm analyzing the alien ship designs from the data we captured. I think I know how to hurt them." "Tell me." "Their ships use a centralized power system. Everything runs through a single main reactor. If we can overload that reactor, the entire ship shuts down. But we'd have to get very close to do it." Jake looked at the tactical display. The two remaining alien ships were closing in, and the Horizon's engines were failing. They had one chance. "Davis, can you give me one more power surge, just for 5 minutes?" "Sir, if I do that, we'll lose engines completely. We'll be dead in space." "But will it work?" "Maybe, if the ship doesn't blow up first." Jake made his decision. "Do it, all hands, brace for impact." The Horizon surged forward with its last burst of power. Jake aimed directly at the nearest alien ship and fired every weapon they had. The alien vessel, caught off guard by the desperate attack, took heavy damage to its main reactor and exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The final alien ship backed away, apparently deciding that chasing these crazy humans was too dangerous. It turned and headed back toward the alien station, leaving the Horizon alone in space. But now they had a new problem. The engines were completely dead, and they were still 6 hours from Earth. Jake looked at his crew. They had fought brilliantly, but they were stranded in space while the alien battle fleet continued toward their homeworld. "Sir," Ben said quietly, "I'm detecting a human ship approaching." "It's the UES Defender, one of our patrol vessels?" Jake felt relief wash over him. Captain Rodriguez must have sent word ahead. Within an hour, the Defender had taken the Horizon in tow, and they were racing toward Earth at maximum speed. But as they traveled, Jake couldn't stop thinking about the alien diplomat's words. Humanity was alone in this fight. The galaxy had already decided their fate, and no one was coming to help them. The race against time was almost over, and now the real battle was about to begin. Admiral Susan Blake stood in the command center of Earth's orbital defense station, watching the most terrifying sight in human history unfold on the main screen. 347 alien warships had just appeared at the edge of the solar system, their massive hulls gleaming in the light of distant stars. "All stations report ready, Admiral," called Colonel Dan Harper, her operations officer. "The Colonial Defense Network is fully activated. Every ship we have is in position." Susan looked at the tactical display. Humanity had managed to gather 236 vessels to defend Earth. It was the largest human fleet ever assembled, but it looked pitiful compared to the alien armada approaching them. "What's our status on the evacuation?" she asked. "Civilian. Transports are still loading refugees from the outer colonies," Harper replied. "We've managed to get most of the non-essential personnel away from the main battle zone, but there are still millions of people on Earth and Mars." Susan nodded grimly. When Jake Morrison had arrived with his warning, humanity had less than 48 hours to prepare for total war. It wasn't nearly enough time, but they had done what they could. The alien fleet moved slowly through space, clearly confident in their overwhelming superiority. Their ships were enormous, some of them over 2 miles long. Their weapons could destroy entire cities with single shots, and their shields could deflect anything in the human arsenal. "Admiral," called Captain Steve Parker from his destroyer used Defiant, "we're detecting movement in the asteroid belt. The aliens are sending scout ships to survey our defenses." Susan had expected this. The aliens would want to study human defensive positions before launching their main attack, but she had prepared a surprise for them. "Parker, execute Operation Shrapnel. Show our visitors what human engineers can do with space rocks." For the past 36 hours, human ships had been placing explosives throughout the asteroid belt, not to destroy the aliens, but to create the largest minefield in history. When the alien scout ships moved into the belt, the explosives detonated simultaneously. Thousands of asteroids exploded into millions of pieces, creating a deadly cloud of high-speed debris. The alien scouts, with their elegant and delicate designs, were shredded by the artificial meteor storm. Only 2 of the 12 scout ships escaped to report back to their fleet. Council Admiral Zefkar, commander of the alien fleet, watched the destruction of his scouts with growing anger. He belonged to the Dominion, a species that had conquered dozens of worlds through superior technology and careful planning. He had never encountered an enemy that used such primitive and brutal tactics. "These humans fight without honor," he said to his staff. "They use their own solar system as a weapon." His science officer, a being from the archive species, studied the human tactics with interest. "Admiral, the humans are not fighting the way our simulations predicted. They are using strategies that no civilized species would employ." "It does not matter," Zefkar replied. "We have overwhelming superiority. Order the fleet to advance. We will end this quickly." But as the alien fleet moved deeper into the solar system, they encountered more surprises. Human ships appeared from behind planets and moons, launching surprise attacks before disappearing again. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to stand still and fight fairly. Captain Steve Parker led his squadron in a series of hit-and-run attacks that confused and frustrated the alien commanders. His ships used Earth's moon as cover, popping out to fire missiles before hiding again. When the aliens sent ships to pursue them, they found themselves flying into carefully placed minefields. "Human fleet," came a transmission from the alien flagship. "Your resistance is pointless. Surrender now, and we will make your destruction." "Quick," Admiral Blake responded personally. "Alien fleet, this is Admiral Susan Blake of the United Earth Space Command. We have a message for your Galactic Council. You want to exterminate humanity because you think we're too dangerous? You're about to find out just how dangerous we can be." The real battle began when the alien main fleet reached Earth's orbital space. The aliens expected to find human ships lined up in neat formations, ready for a traditional space battle. Instead, they found chaos. Human ships attacked from every direction, using tactics that broke every rule of civilized warfare. When a human ship took too much damage to continue fighting, the crew would aim it at the nearest alien vessel and ram it at full speed. The aliens, who considered their ships too valuable to risk in such desperate maneuvers, were shocked by this willingness to sacrifice everything for victory. Lieutenant Colonel Tracy Mitchell piloted one of the new experimental fighters that had been rushed into production. Her ship was tiny compared to the alien vessels, but it was fast and heavily armed. She led a squadron of similar fighters in attacks on the alien capital ships. "All fighters, this is Phoenix Leader," she called to her squadron. "Remember, we're not trying to destroy these big ships. We're trying to hurt them enough to make them think twice about being here." Tracy's fighters swarmed around the alien vessels like angry wasps, firing at weapon systems and shield generators. The alien ships, designed for battles between large fleets, had trouble targeting such small and fast-moving enemies, but the most shocking moment of the battle came when Tracy's fighter was hit by alien fire. Her ship was dying, the engines failing, and the hull breaching in multiple places. Instead of trying to escape, She aimed her crippled fighter at the alien flagship's main weapon array. "This is for everyone back on Earth," she said over the communication channel, then switched off her radio. Her fighter, loaded with explosives and moving at tremendous speed, smashed into the alien flagship's primary weapons. The explosion was visible from Earth, a brilliant flash that lit up the space around the massive alien vessel. The alien ship didn't explode, but its main guns were destroyed. Without its primary weapons, the flagship was just a large target. Human ships immediately focused their fire on the damaged vessel, forcing it to retreat behind the protection of other alien ships. Admiral Zefkar watched the destruction of his flagship's weapons with growing disbelief. In 3,000 years of galactic warfare, he had never seen anything like this. The humans were using their own lives as weapons, sacrificing themselves to hurt his fleet. "Admiral," his science officer reported, "we have lost 17 ships and suffered major damage to 43 others. The humans have lost 81 vessels, but they continue fighting with the same intensity." Zefkar studied the battle reports. The humans were clearly losing. They were outnumbered and outgunned. But they were making his fleet pay a terrible price for every mile of space they advanced. "Sir," his communications officer called, "we're receiving a message from the hegemony and collective fleets. They are withdrawing from the battle." "What? Why?" "They say the attack on humanity violates galactic law. They refuse to participate in what they call an illegal war of extermination." Zefkar felt his carefully planned operation falling apart. The political unity of the council was cracking, and the humans were proving far more dangerous than anyone had expected. The battle's turning point came when Captain Parker's destroyer squadron managed to get close to the alien command ship. Using the cover of a debris field created by destroyed vessels, the human ships launched a coordinated attack on the alien flagship. The UES Defiant, badly damaged and with half its crew dead, made a final desperate charge at the alien command vessel. Parker aimed his ship directly at the alien bridge, intending to ram it and kill the enemy commander, but at the last moment his ship's engines failed. Instead of ramming the bridge, the Defiant crashed into the alien ship's communication array, destroying the fleet's ability to coordinate their attacks. Without central command, the alien fleet began to fall apart. Individual ships started making their own decisions, and the careful battle plan that Zefkar had prepared became worthless. "All ships," Admiral Blake broadcast to the human fleet, "press the attack. They're breaking up. Don't let them regroup." The human ships, despite their losses, pushed forward with renewed energy. They had been fighting for their survival, for their families, for their entire species. The aliens were fighting for orders from a distant council. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the humans were not going to be easily defeated. They fought with a desperation and creativity that the aliens had never encountered before. Every human ship that died took alien vessels with it, and the survivors kept fighting no matter how badly they were outnumbered. Admiral Zefkar finally understood why the Galactic Council had classified humanity as a Tier 5 extinction risk. These beings were unlike anything else in the galaxy. They fought not just to win, but to make their enemies pay such a terrible price that victory became meaningless. The Council's attempt to quietly eliminate humanity had failed. The humans had not only survived the first assault, but they had proven that they were indeed as dangerous as the Council had feared. And now, the entire galaxy would know about the secret war that was supposed to end in silence. The silence that followed the battle was almost more terrifying than the fighting itself. Admiral Susan Blake stood on the bridge of her command station, looking at the wreckage floating in space around Earth. Pieces of both human and alien ships drifted slowly in the darkness, a reminder of the terrible price that had been paid. "Status report," she said quietly. Colonel Don Harper checked his displays. "We've lost 147 ships, Admiral. 62,000 crew members are dead or missing. But, sir, the alien fleet is retreating. They're pulling back to the edge of the solar system." Susan felt a mixture of relief and grief. Humanity had survived, but the cost had been enormous. Families all across Earth and the colonies were learning that their loved ones would never come home. What's the status of the alien fleet? She asked. They've lost 73 ships completely destroyed, and over 100 more are too damaged to fight. Their commander is requesting a ceasefire. Susan was surprised. They want to negotiate? Yes, sir. They're asking for permission to recover their damaged ships and wounded crew members. Admiral Zefkar's voice came through the communication system a few minutes later. The translator made his words sound mechanical, but Susan could hear the exhaustion and shock behind them. Admiral Blake, the alien commander said, I request a temporary ceasefire to tend to our wounded and recover our dead. Susan looked at her officers. By all the rules of warfare, she should agree. But these aliens had come to her solar system to commit genocide. They had planned to kill every human being alive. Admiral Zefkar, she replied, your fleet came here to exterminate my entire species. You wanted to turn our planets into dust and erase all evidence that we ever existed. Why should I show mercy to people who plan to show none to us? There was a long pause before the alien commander responded. Admiral, I came here expecting to fight a primitive species that posed a threat to galactic peace. What I found instead was a people fighting for their survival with courage and determination that I have never witnessed before. Susan waited for him to continue. Your people fought with honor, even when facing certain death. You sacrificed your own lives to protect others. You showed mercy to alien prisoners when you had every reason to hate us. You are not the monsters our council believed you to be. Susan made her decision. You have 12 hours to recover your people and repair your ships enough to leave our solar system. After that, any alien vessel remaining in human space will be considered hostile. Thank you, Admiral. Your mercy will not be forgotten. As the alien fleet worked to recover from the battle, something unexpected happened. Ships from the hegemony and collective species, which had withdrawn from the fight, requested permission to enter Earth's solar system. Captain Amy Rodriguez, who had returned just as the battle was ending, handled the negotiations. The alien diplomats she spoke with seemed nervous but determined. Admiral Blake, said the hegemony representative through the translator, we formally withdraw our species from the Galactic Council's action against humanity. We declare this attack to be illegal under galactic law. The collective representative. Agreed. Our species has reviewed the evidence provided by Captain Rodriguez. The quarantine of Earth was implemented without proper legal procedures. The attempt to exterminate humanity violates the fundamental laws that govern galactic civilization. Susan was cautious. What does this mean for humanity? It means that Earth is now officially recognized as a sovereign world with the right to exist freely in galactic space, the hegemony diplomat explained. Any further attempts to harm your species will be considered acts of war against our governments as well. But the most important change came from an unexpected source. Commander Jake Morrison, who had survived the battle despite his ship being badly damaged, received a communication from the alien monitoring station they had first discovered. Commander Morrison, came the voice of the archive keeper, the alien scientist who had studied humanity for decades. I wish to defect to human space. I have information that your species needs to know about other threats in the galaxy. Jake was suspicious. Why would you help us? You've been spying on us for centuries. Because I was wrong about your species, the archive keeper replied. I studied your history and saw only violence and chaos. But I did not understand what I was seeing. You fight not because you enjoy war, but because you are willing to pay any price to protect what you love. The archive keeper's defection brought humanity incredible gifts. He provided detailed information about galactic technology, politics, and other species. More importantly, he revealed that Earth was not the only world the Council had quarantined. There are 7 other species currently under quarantine protocols, he explained to Admiral Blake during their first meeting. The Council fears any species that develops too quickly or thinks too independently. You are not alone in being judged too dangerous to exist. This information changed everything. Within weeks, human ships were traveling to these other quarantined worlds, making contact with species that had been isolated for centuries. Some of these species had been hidden for so long that they had forgotten other intelligent life existed in the galaxy. Commander Jake Morrison found himself appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community. His job was to ensure that humanity would never again be subject to the arbitrary decisions of distant bureaucrats. "We're not asking to rule the galaxy," he told the reformed Galactic Council during his first official appearance. "We're asking for the right to exist freely and make our own choices about our future." Dr. Lisa Carter established the Institute for Galactic Studies, where humans and friendly aliens work together to understand the complex politics and science of the wider galaxy. Her first major project was developing defensive technologies that would prevent any future attempts to quarantine or attack Earth. Captain Rodriguez was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Galactic Relations Fleet. Her ships carried diplomats and scientists to establish peaceful contact with the hundreds of species that had been kept ignorant of Earth's existence. "It's ironic," she said to Jake during one of their planning meetings. The Council tried to hide us because they thought we were too dangerous. But now that we're free, we're spending most of our time trying to help other species gain their freedom too." The political consequences of humanity's victory continued to spread throughout the galaxy. 3 more species withdrew from the Galactic Council in protest over the attempted genocide. Several others demanded investigations into their own historical treatment by the Council. Captain Steve Parker, who had survived the battle despite his ship being nearly destroyed, found himself in command of a new type of vessel. The UES Liberator was designed specifically for freeing quarantined worlds and protecting species that the Council considered too dangerous. But perhaps the most important change was in how the galaxy viewed humanity itself. The species that had once been considered too violent and unpredictable to be allowed freedom were now seen as fierce protectors of the weak and oppressed. A year after the battle, Jake Morrison stood once again on the bridge of a starship. But this time he was not alone. His crew included humans, but also members of the Hegemony, the Collective, and 3 of the species that humanity had helped to liberate from quarantine. "Sir," called his communications officer, a young woman named Kelly Adams, "we're receiving a distress signal from the Centauri system. It's another quarantine species. The Council is moving to implement terminal containment protocol." Jake smiled grimly. "Set course for Centauri. All ships, prepare for liberation operations." The galaxy had tried to hide Earth's existence because they feared what humans might become if they were allowed to roam freely among the stars. They had been right to be afraid, but not for the reasons they thought. Humanity had indeed become exactly what the Galactic Council had feared, a species that refused to accept injustice, that fought against impossible odds, and that would never allow the strong to prey upon the weak without consequence. The Council's attempt to hide Earth's existence had failed completely. Now, instead of one dangerous species hidden in quarantine, the galaxy faced something far more threatening to their old order: the spread of human ideas about freedom, justice, and the right of all species to determine their own destiny. It was too late to put humanity back in their cage. The humans were free, and they were determined to ensure that no species would ever again face the threat of extinction simply for being different. The age of the Galactic Council's absolute power was ending, and a new era of galactic freedom was beginning. And it had all started because they had tried to hide one small blue planet that refused to stay hidden.